Good morning, Wednesday. It is November 19th, 2025. My name is D. You have tuned into the Unleashed Network on a Wednesday morning. Thank y'all for joining me bright and early. Again, we're live on Facebook, etc. On live stream, we're also 104.3 FM, Tri-County region, Rankin, Madison, and Hinds County. So, again, thank y'all so much. If you see the feed on Facebook, etc., please go ahead and share it. We're going to be talking about a lot of things today as it is a midweek. Only just a little bit, a week and a day away from Thanksgiving 2025. What are you going to do for Thanksgiving? What are you going to do? I know there's a lot going on. Since I live by myself, I'm sure I'm going to take advantage of the ultimate Thanksgiving buffet. Starts at 11 a.m. at Cypress Point Resort. You name it, they got it. The state's biggest buffet for $21.99 plus a drink. You cannot beat that. You cannot go to the grocery stores and buy all of that food and stand on your feet and cook all of it for that. So if you're like me, I'd be out there grubbing and taking advantage of it. Why not? Why not? So many people nowadays, look, it's not like the old days, and believe me, I wish it was. But I'll be taking advantage of the buffet on Thanksgiving Day, 11 a.m. till 4-ish. That's going to be $21.99 plus a drink. And like I said, you can't even do that. You can't even do that at a regular restaurant without a buffet of everything you can imagine. All your Thanksgiving, all the fixings, all the veggies, all the meats, the desserts are incredible. I mean, wow. And I do mean wow. One of our main sponsors here, Unleashed, is Cypress Point. That's cypresspointms.com and at Cypress Point MS on Facebook. Spread the word, get it out there, tell your friends about it. Rankin County's hottest place to be. Literally. For all aspects. From a general mercantile store to all the restaurants, the bars, the safari, the wedding chapels, the lodges, the banquet halls. I can go on and on. So, we'll see you at 874 Holly Bush Road, Brandon, Mississippi, Cypress Point Resort. We're live. So, thanks again for joining us this morning. And if you're just waking up, good morning. Get dressed, get up, get ready. It's that time of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be late. Feel free to chime in on the Facebook live feed and etc. But also feel free to text me at 601-918-8409. Well, I would say I hope you're sitting down for all my friends in California. Some of them are watching. It's still basically nighttime there. It's early. It's like 4:38 in the morning there. They're already texting me, well, I hope you're sitting down. But the one and only Gavin Newsom, has been lying about the recovery and the rebuilding of the Pacific Palisades. But now, even more, there are allegations that the state mismanagement actually caused the Pacific Wildlife and Wildfire. They lied about it in court. This is a exclusive dial in, listen in over on Unleashed on the south, down south, because I still have friends that live in the Los Angeles area, which they won't out like everybody else that lives there. And that's unfortunate. California was a beautiful state at one time. California was a beautiful state at one time. But they said, hey, I hope you're sitting down. But honestly, I am not surprised. I am really not surprised. Gavin Newsom, who claims that he's going to run for president, whatever. Whatever. Good morning, Chris. Let's check this out from California this morning, early.
We have new exclusive details on the investigation into the handling of the deadly Palisades fire in California. News Nation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh obtained documents that may show that the state is in fact solely responsible for that fire and possibly for the deaths of the 12 people who died. Last week, our exclusive reporting found that a state representative was present near the burn scar, which had all the embers deep underground of a fire that had not been completely turned out. Well, it eventually turned into the Palisades fire. And apparently, according to our reporting, a state representative was on the scene ordering firefighters around, telling them where they could and could not go. Well, tonight, we not only have confirmation that a state representative was there, but we now know exactly when they arrived and why. News Nation's Rich McHugh joins us now with this exclusive. Rich, tell us what more you've managed to uncover.
Hi, Elizabeth. Well, it's really shocking, and ultimately comes down to two really big questions. Number one, did state mismanagement ultimately cause the Palisades fire? And did they lie about it in court, lie about all of it in court? And these new documents that we've obtained suggest that that's absolutely what happened. Now, this all began in the early morning hours of January 1 when an alleged arsonist started the Lockman fire. And we know underground embers reignited 6 days later, starting a second, more devastating fire. That was the Palisades fire. In response to a lawsuit from over 3,000 Palisades residents alleging the state failed to monitor embers from that initial fire, Governor Newsom's office told News Nation the state didn't start this fire, that was an arsonist, and the state wasn't responsible for responding to or monitoring this fire. Now, in new court filings, the state goes further and says the Palisades victims cannot allege that the state had notice of the Lockman fire because it never had notice. State records show a call at 12:27 a.m. on January 1, but with the rest of the incident report redacted, completely blacked out basically, including their response to that call.
Yep. Guess what, Gavin? You're busted again. Listen, Gavin Newsom has been the worst thing that ever happened to the state of California. Why would anybody think that he could manage the United States of America when he doesn't even care about his own constituents at all in the state of California? Okay, so I'm not even going to get on the Gavin Newsom this morning. I'm not. Okay, I'm not. There are more important things to talk about there, but there are never more important things to talk about than people losing their lives, which is the reason we were talking, and people losing all their homes and everything they ever owned. Okay, due to mismanagement of the state. And yes, that's on Gavin Newsom. Now, stand up, be a man, and do something, brother. Even though you ain't my brother, but you get the gist. Ridiculous, you guys. How bad this one person has ruined this country. But then you think about right now, oh wow, everything's so expensive, I can't do anything, We all told you the first time, literally the day that Biden won the presidency from Trump, we're like, everything's going to change dramatically. Nobody wanted to listen. Everybody was like, oh, that's going to take forever. It did not take forever, but what does take forever is to undo all the screwery. Because when people go up on prices and they know they can get the American people to pay all of that, why do you think they would go backwards? Because I don't think they would go backwards. That's not life. It's not life at all. It's more junk. Now, is Trump getting things down and back to normal? Sure he is. But we told everybody when those 4 years of Joe Biden, Joe Brandon, let's go Brandon, we told you that he was going to ruin the country. Think about where we would be right now if cackling Kamala would have won. Seriously. Just think about that every time you wake up, and you'll see that we're in a lot better shape than we could have been. We're blessed that that did not happen. I'm sorry if that makes anybody mad. We're probably not even close to being on the same page about anything in life. I mean, about anything in life, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the actual truth. Just outrageous to me. The things that we're doing and we're going through that are still happening because of the Biden administration. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk all day about Biden. I talked about Biden for 5 freaking years, almost. We warned everybody. But the Democrats stick together and they go out and vote. I'm telling you now, if the Republican Party, the Conservative Party, the Independent Party does not go out and vote, we will lose the midterms to the Cuckoos. We will lose the presidency in 28 to the Cuckoos. That's being said by Scott Presser. Everybody running the ground campaigns, the early campaigns for the Republican Party and the Conservative Party, America First, Make America Great Again, all of that. Don't sit on your hands. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Please. Good morning, Randy. Good morning, Angie. But unmute yourself. You know, we're not like the Democrats. We don't go out and, burn things down to the ground. We don't go out and do all that whacked out stuff, but we should go out literally as much as possible and talk to people, especially the young people who are getting their information from God knows where, TikTok, Snapchat, discourse, evil, mean crap, who are promoting nothing but socialism, communism, and quite frankly, lazy BS, okay? They don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. And why would they when they've been getting stuff for free? Why would they? And yes, I know all of the BS. I've talked about it till my freaking lips have fallen off about the freaking Epstein files. Okay? Marjorie Traitor Green. I've talked that many times. I've talked about Thomas Massey, who only has a 6% rating in his own state. He made his own bed. Sadly, it happened. But all the good things are going on, too. Trump's partying, making deals, massive $1 trillion deals with the Saudi crown prince and all the Saudi people that are at the White House. And they don't just do a fist bump like Joe Biden, because he didn't give Joe Biden nothing. Zero, because Joe Biden acted like the elitist that he thinks he is Trump's hanging out with them. They're having a big dinner with Elon Musk. They're having a big dinner with the cool folks, the adults in the room, and they're making $1 trillion investments. All this stuff's happening every day. Okay? It just is. Toyota CEO from Toyota goes full on MAGA, y'all. MAGA. I know the elitists are probably wetting the bed this morning, of course, over this. But the Toyota CEO, which is American guy, lives right here. Full on MAGA at the NASCAR events. As car maker invests $912 more million into United States manufacturing. They can't stand it. They want to cover it up with the Epstein. They want to cover it up every day with hate Trump. They want to cover it up every day with nonsense. Okay? Nonsense. And, you know, you get to know how really evil the general public is, too, when you read the comments on things. It's really outrageous. The comments that I get are outrageous, y'all. Now, you don't see it on my Facebook if you follow me on Facebook, because people on Facebook are quite tame. I've been blessed. But the outrageous nut jobs that follow me on Twitter/X, TikTok, Rumble, they are... You've never seen anything like it. But I see where Erica Shea commented on this particular national comment about the Toyota, and he said, and the Democrats are furious. Of course they are. They are furious. Thanks for the text. Joe said, hey, I may buy a Toyota now. Yeah, great car, actually. I've had a few of them. But, you know, and then I've got a couple of nut jobs saying, remind me to buy a Honda. We'll never buy anything that Trump or Elon is behind. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up, and then shut up. Goofy, and goofier. Goofy, and goofier. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. These nut jobs will never change. They will never change because, first of all, they're insane. Second of all, they're not like us, which I'm glad. They're just not. They're the party of chaos. They are the party of insanity. They are the party of destruction. They are the party of violence. They are the party of... I could keep going and going and going and going. But the main thing is, on simple terms, just in case you don't keep up with politics, which most people don't actually, they are zero common sense. That's it. No common sense. None. Zero. I don't give a damn about your scores at college. I don't care about your high school scores. None of that gives you any common sense. It just doesn't. It does not, actually. It does not purposely give you any common sense. I mean, think about it. There's nothing to do with common sense by studying a book or going to classes from a whacked out socialist elite agenda professor or teacher. There's just not. Nothing to do with common sense. They're going to push the same crap that they always push for years and years, and we let it happen. We let it happen in this country. A lot of people didn't know about it. Hell, I didn't know about it until, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago. But yeah, but it's been going on. Even in the freaking 80s, 90s, people say it was always totally different back then. It was, thank God. But it was still there, y'all. They were still lining it up. They were still doing their thing. They were still doing all of their BS. Of course. Good morning, Joel. But of course they were. They are. Angie is fired up in the chat. Y'all jump in. That's right. Wise up, ladies and gentlemen. Wise up. Or get basically slavery. Is that what y'all want to be? I mean, seriously. Got a text message at 601-918-8409. Text lines brought to you by Cypress Point. Good morning. Tell folks to remember to always, when in doubt, zoom out, and it's easier to connect the dots that way. They'll see that the rot runs really, really deeper, deeper, and deeper than you ever thought. That's right. Step back, take a look. Look around. And you'll find out how deep the swamp rot rat mud runs. You will. But again, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. And that doesn't mean violence, because we're not the party of violence. That means unmute yourself. Don't let these people just run over everybody. Challenge them. Good morning, Anita. Challenge them. Challenge them as they should be challenged daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. And that includes Republicans, too. The neocon freaking rat rhinos. Okay? You think I'm unaware of that? No. I'm not. So, Hakeem Jeffries, I know y'all all know because it's on every station at every moment of every hour, that the House, of course, passed unanimously the Epstein files to be released, and the Senate's going to do it probably today, so it'll be out. Trump will have to sign it, which he will. It's all nonsense, distraction, while he's doing fantastic stuff for the country. That's just the way they work. Joe Davidson, the man, the one in the big picture with Donald Trump himself, the Mississippian. Hold it up. If y'all see Joe Davidson in my Facebook chat right now, go ahead and add him. That is the original MAGA from Mississippi. And Joe said that he's proud of me. Well, thank you very much, sir. Coming from the original MAGA hat guy. Mike Silva, New Orleans, Louisiana area checking in. Always a patriot, my friend Mike. And always has been. So, y'all stick around. We're going to come right back at you in about less than a minute or so.
On January 3rd, Ron Fearman and his daughter were saved from a flood by Army reservists.
Okay, grab my shoulders. Hang on tight.
Were it not for their employers letting them do their duty, this story might have had a very different ending.
You're going to be safe.
To every employer who supports the National Guard and Reserve, thanks for making us your business. A public service message brought to you by the employer support of the Guard and Reserve and the Ad Council.
We all make promises, big and small.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I do solemnly swear
to help you when you're in need,
to be considerate and caring, to be your loving, faithful friend,
partner,
child,
parent,
neighbor,
One of our most important commitments is to support our nation's veterans. Learn how you can help a veteran going through a difficult time by visiting maketheconnection.net.
All right, we're back. My name is D. You have joined the Unleashed Media Network. 104.3 FM in the Tri-County, Rankin, Madison, Hines, Mississippi area. And, of course, we are worldwide. As usual, live streaming. Thank you for all the support always. 601-918-8409 is the direct text. 601-918-8409. Brought to you by CypressPointMS.com. Cypress Point MS on Facebook. All right, so we're back. We're giving some shout outs to some folks listening from Louisiana and other parts of the state and the country, by the way. We're talking about the nonsense because there's a lot of nonsense going on. We know that the, of course, Epstein files will be released finally. And look, I'm all about that. Release it, release it, release it. Good morning to the beautiful Michelle. Thanks for tuning in, Michelle. Just definitely needs to happen. But wait. So Hakeem Jeffries, the loser with the big mouth, was invited, did invite Epstein to a dinner to solicit money from him in 2013 after Epstein was convicted for procuring a child for prostitution. But these people scream about everybody else. But I'm sitting here looking at the proof right here, the exclusive proof, unredacted, about Hakeem. I wonder if the Democrat Party will be asking for his resignation. What do you think? Of course not. Like they're doing with Trump? No, they won't. Because they just won't do it. The silence from the Democrat left party basically is nothing unless they're mentioning Trump. That's all they're interested in. Will they ask Hakeem Jeffries to resign? Of course they won't. But I will. I, in fact, will right now. Hakeem Jeffries, you need to resign now. We don't want leadership in power where you got your money from a sick, twisted Jeffrey Epstein for your campaign dollars, or either write a check to all the victims for all the money you got from Jeffrey Epstein. Will you do it? Of course you won't. You are a sick puppy. You know? And it doesn't really even matter anymore because that is the normal, unfortunately, leftist politician now. Two pieces of garbage. Epstein, Hakeem Jeffries. Democrats, dirty little secrets, dirty little secrets. But they ain't so secret no more. Anyway, Jeffries is a filthy individual, swamp rat, far left lunatic. Got a text message from Ben that says Jeffries wasn't just aware of Epstein. He invited him and solicited that money after the conviction of Jeffrey. That's beyond unethical. Repost if you agree. Hey, I agree. And I'm going to repost that when I finish the show. Because you're 120% correct, sir. 100,000,000%. Y'all got any more of them Y'all got any more of them Epstein donations? I'm sure that's what Hakeem was saying. That's what Hakeem was saying. Y'all got any more of them Epstein donations? Sick puppies, y'all. Sick puppies. Oh, my God. But actually, Trump administration, honestly, on a good note, has done more to stop human trafficking than any other president and administration in American history. And that's a fact. That's not me pumping up Trump. That is a fact in the history. While the Democrats fight his attempts to deport the predators. You cannot make that make sense. The only way that makes sense is they are 100% sick and twisted. That is it. You know, the Democrats are a bag of hammers looking for nails. The Democrats are a bag of hammers looking for nails. Wild. 7:05 a.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday, November 19th. My name is Daryl. You tuned into the Unleashed Network. Y'all know anybody small businesses? Right now I'm taking on new sponsors. As long as it's not a restaurant or a bar, I'm not taking those on at the moment. Any other small business you want it to blow up, the proof is in the pudding. I've done it before, over and over and over. Contact me directly, 601-918-8409. And if you know somebody, have them contact me, or you contact me, and I'll contact them. Right? Right. Anyway. The best entrants and interests, both entrants and interests of American people have been served since Trump walked back through the door. The most vulnerable, exploited children happened because of wide open borders. During the Biden administration, it was sickening, okay? It was sickening. We were broken. We were being propped up by a Band-Aid. That's exactly what we were doing. That's exactly what was happening. You know? And that's all I got on that, because it's the truth. It is the absolute truth. But the chairman and the rest of the Oversight Committee reveals that the House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's bank records for all times. And they're just going to continue to follow the money. And they think that the bank records will be able to trace money and determine if there were people that were paying for, quote, Jeffrey Epstein services, whatever that may be. And purchasing power in different countries as well. So that's just what's going on, y'all. That's what's going on. This is nothing more than a pro-pedophile, pro-child sex trafficking organization that has gone on for decades, entirely too long. Okay? Entirely too long. Now, on to the other story. I believe the name is Plaskett. Plaskett. The crazy thing on this story, well, you know what? We're going to get into that in just a minute, because we're going to have to take some time for me to calm down about that story because it's so insane. Literally insane. And you know what's also crazy is over the years, every person has complied to the subpoenas regarding answering questions about Jeffrey Epstein. All of them, except for two people. I wonder who those two people are. Who do you think they are? Who do you think the two people are?
They didn't schedule their interviews. Now there's a subpoena. But Bill and Hillary Clinton, if they continue to duck you, will you take them to court? Will you try to enforce a subpoena? Will you go the Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro route?
100%. We're going to go that route. We expect to hear from Bill and Hillary Clinton. Look, Donald Trump's answered questions for years about Jeffrey Epstein. Every day he gets asked questions about Epstein, and he answers them in front of the American people. We've subpoenaed Republicans and Democrats. Two Republicans have come forward, Bill Barr and Alex Acosta. They did interviews and deposition, and those were tough, but they did them. They didn't back down. Other Democrats have sent letters that saying they knew nothing about Epstein, which would hold in court if something ever comes out that they did know something, then they've committed perjury there. But the Clintons have never responded. They're the one group in this investigation that's never had to answer questions in front of a credible reporter, and they've never certainly answered questions from attorneys or members of Congress. So we expect the Clintons to come in, or I expect the Clintons to be met with the same fate that Bannon and Navarro were met with when the Democrats were in control.
Yeah. Why won't they come in? Bill and Hillary. Sickening. Those people are sick. Bill Clinton went to the island over and over. There's freaking weird paintings of him in blue dresses and like a tranny. Come on, man. Twisted. I wonder how it was that they could just simply decline. I mean, really think about it. If that would have been me and you, anybody out there listening, we wouldn't be able to decline that. We'd be in jail, under the jail, where they need to be. For so long. God, man. Since the freaking 90s. These people have not paid for any of the evil stuff they have done, period. And people don't really understand or get it. They traffic girls, they rape girls, they don't care. Their asses deserve to be under the jail. Man, this is common sense, y'all. People say about time. Well, you know, we've been saying about time for how many years, but nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. We want to see perp walks. We want to see people jailed. Want to see it. Okay? Want to see it. Michelle said she is so sick of the general stupidity of the Democrats. You cannot change them or change their minds on anything. They're 100% brainwashed. That's right. 100%. I agree. They are 100% brainwashed. They watch too much TikTok. You know, you can't verify any of that crap. You can go on there and say whatever you want to. Doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's true. Hell, I can go on there and say everything I wanted to. I try to get the truth there. You know, a lot of us try. A lot of big influencers try every day, and then a lot of big influencers try to brainwash people to be complete idiots as well. For real, though. You know, Biden's FBI, I've said this for a long time, probably destroyed any Epstein evidence. Under Biden's FBI, there was destruction of evidence specifically tied to Epstein, I'm sure, and potential evidence tampering. Of course there was. Of course there was. That was Representative Luna discussing that with Will Cain, which she's probably exactly correct. Of course. They had all this on Donald Trump. They would have at least released it a decade ago. They would have started out with that. They would have continued to scorch him on that. They only used up when it's convenient for them. Making up lies. Making up lies. Over 1,000 victims that we know of. Over 10,000 perpetrators, supposedly. I don't know. I wasn't there. But either way, it's unacceptable in the United States of America. It just is. No matter what side of the party you're on. Period. Great news last night, of course. It was good news to see President Trump saying hello and welcoming Elon Musk in the White House. I'm glad they're back together. Love it. They're back. Boom. But, you know, to me, and always has been since I jumped on board with Trump back in 2015, that the difference is that President Trump is not a politician. He's never been a politician. Literally everything he says he wants to do, he does it. Okay? And a politician will say it, get you warm and fuzzy, but nobody has the balls to do anything. So there's that. There's that. Believe me, there's a lot of that going on. There always has been throughout the history, okay? Throughout the whole history of the country. Just the truth. Man. Crazy. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
You're not. You're in Pearl, Mississippi. Listening to Power 104.3, The Pirate, where we play almost everything.
All right, wake up. It is Wednesday, hump day, midweek. It is November 19th, this 2025. My name is Daryl. Unleashed, uninhibited, unapologetic radio and live stream on a hump day Wednesday. We're discussing the Jeffrey Epstein, which has just never been easy. It's always just been there, okay? It's just sadly, okay? Sadly. They've always tried to blatantly blame all of this on Trump. They try to blame everything on Trump, though, so it doesn't really matter. But Chip Roy was the representative I was trying to think of. Back in 2019, there was a federal, in 2019, in July, the Trump administration was going after Ghislaine Maxwell and set the stage for her indictment. But what was happening during there is unacceptable in this country. This person needs to be under the jail, and she is still sitting House member. A sitting House member. I mean, how does that happen, y'all? How does it happen? So they came up with a resolution to censure Delegate Stacey Plaskett, a Democrat from Virginia. You know, we got a sitting member on the Oversight Committee who was texting back and forth to Jeffrey Epstein, texting him in the middle of the hearing, while Chip Roy, who was on the Oversight Committee, was asking Michael Cohen questions. Engaging text also. These weren't trivial texts. These weren't trivial texts. But they were texts involving advice about her questioning of Michael Cohen. All of this was designed to figure out how to get Michael Cohen to be able to somehow go after Trump and Trump's advisors. How sick is this? I'll tell you, it's really sick. I mean, for real. God, man, it's just so much going on. It's so much going on that should not be going on. But we are where we are. So we're not going to sit around anymore. Like the actor James Woods said, why isn't Gavin Newsom in prison? Why isn't Karen Bass allowed to, or why was she allowed to skate, rather? Good question for the California folks, definitely. I mean, I would get the hell out of there. As a matter of fact, I did get the hell out of there. And I loved California, but I couldn't stand it at the same time. And you all know why. It was starting to become a cesspool right before Gavin Newsom. We could see it. We could. But what I enjoyed seeing last night, we talked about it a little bit, was the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia announcing that they were going to increase their $600 million to $1 trillion, or $600 billion to $1 trillion. The prince said, hey, your work, talking to Trump, for world peace. I believe, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to increase that $600 billion to, quote, $1 trillion investment. Trump said, hey, you are saying to me now the $600 billion will be $1 trillion, right? And the prince said, right. Definitely. That's what he said. That's what he said. The art of the deal, ladies and gentlemen. The art of the deal. And I'm still not tired of winning. I'm definitely not tired of winning. And won't be. It's called the Trump effect. The peace president. The 47 machine rolls on. That's what it's called. 47 machine rolls on. Jump on, jump in, let's go. LETSGO. LETSGO. And that's big money. There's no B in that. There's a T in that. T. Man. Yeah, somebody said, is he single? Somebody named Hillary. I don't know, but at least you're not Hillary Clinton, because if you were, he would be running from you. He would be definitely running from you. So, question for you. Is Marjorie Trader Green and Thomas Masshole Massey, are they the new Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney? I don't know, but they shouldn't doubt MAGA again. Just saying. I don't know what they are, but I do know they shouldn't doubt MAGA again. For sure know that. If you're wondering why I'm not talking about Candace Owens and the Charlie Kirk thing, is because I'm sick of it, first of all. I'm real tired of Candace Owens, seriously. And look, everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody has their own opinion, okay? I get it. I do. And that's cool. But it's become really clear, blatantly obvious, that at real Candace Owens and her claims are trying to implicate Erica Kirk for baseless. Now it's Egyptian planes, it's this and it's that. I happen to like Steven Crowder. She almost ruined that dude's whole entire life. As a matter of fact, she did ruin his whole entire life over nothing. Just so he could get, so she could get a position. This is a long time ago. A lot of y'all don't keep up with stuff like I do. This is Steven Crowder talking yesterday.
Hiding it for years. I need to complain. I've been outed. If you haven't heard the news about me, just watch this clip, and to my everlasting shame, you'll understand.
I had to learn at a very young age to read people. I think that's my superpower, actually. Just being able to look at someone and sense danger or sense deceit. And by the way, I should mention with Steven Crowder, I have never been a fan. He just always gave me the energy of a pathological liar. I trust my gut. I don't trust influencer campaigns. My gut started to tell me that they suddenly began panicking when I discovered the Egyptian planes. What? They did what we now term a pre-bunking, and then they send out like a full fleet against you to not even actually debunk you, but they're just so extreme in not debunking you.
Like using
they
their
sent
gut?
undercover operatives to sign up for my private book club that I kept on Tuesday. They took out a clip of that book club, from that book club, and accused me of accusing Erica of murdering her husband. I mean, they manufactured that claim out of thin air. And then they made it go viral. They sent it out to all the right people, Steven Crowder, right?
I got that
because
email.
I said he was betrayed by everyone. Obviously, what I meant was Erica Kirk murdered her husband. And this was all happening because I mentioned the Egyptian plane. I am certain. Wow. I am telling you this information has been completely verified. I am showing you this on a spreadsheet. Now, these are all the instances in which this plane, 68 instances that this plane crossed with Erica.
Okay. The Egyptian plane. I can spend a lot of time. No, Wichita, Kansas, by the way, is listed no less than 8 times as a destination on that spreadsheet for the plane SU-BTT. It's an Egyptian-owned Dassault Falcon 7X. And just so you know, Wichita is like one of those primary, it's like a global hub in certified FAA service centers. And Dassault has had Wichita State University, a partnership with them since 2015. And what she just showed you would be very much in line with basic service maintenance repairs. And of course, Candace, with the initial story, missed the time of the flight of departure from Provo by about 6 hours. Confused coordinated universal time with Utah time. So none of this
over an ocean
none of
at
this
that
spreadsheet
point.
does zero to substantiate Erica's whereabouts, because after hiding it for years, I need to complain. I've been outed. If you haven't heard the news about me, just watch this clip. And
yeah, Candace is gone cuckoo. That's all I'm going to say. No other comment. And don't care if you agree with it or not. That's your 100% right. Do I think that the Charlie Kirk investigation is weird? Yes, I do. Do I think some weird stuff probably happened? Yes, I do. Do I think that guy was alone by himself behind all this? Probably not. But I'm not going to load up her bank account with the 3 billion clicks because she has another nothing burger, complete fantasized investigation that's going to go nowhere. And if you did a little research on Candace Owens, please. In the past, she was a 100% liberal. She was a 100% invented wokeism, literally. Started all that crap. Dig deep, people. Don't believe everything you see on Tic-Tac Paddywhack. TikTok. It's not always true. And I'm not saying she's not right sometimes, because of course she is. But she sensationalizes everything to the point to where then she has to produce whatever kind of receipts she can, quote, find. And listen, I've said this over and over. I made a clip over it that blew up on TikTok, and this is the truth. I'm going to say it time and time again. If people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, Candace Owens, and quite frankly, a lot more, if your ultimate goal is for us to have a lame duck president after the midterm, and a lame duck means nothing, zero will get done or passed, and your ultimate goal is for us to have a Democrat president and vice president in 2028, that's what you're doing. You are splitting the MAGA party, and I can guarantee you that we will lose the midterms if you keep on with the propaganda. It's a guarantee. And I know a lot of y'all say, nah, man, the country's all about Trump. No, we're this vulnerable all the time. All the time. Even in Mississippi, people, we're totally red. No, we're not. We're not. Democrats stick together. Democrats vote no matter what. It's a big deal to go vote. They're all into it. Conservative Republicans, not so much. We got this in the bag. But we don't have it in the bag. The only way we have it in the bag is for you to get registered to vote and go vote. Or they will win. That is a fact. They, in fact, will actually win. And I don't know anybody personally that wants that. So always keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. I don't know what she's smoking, Debbie. I don't know what the end game is, but I do know that checks from TikTok, checks from Meta, checks from all of that add up to millions of dollars, maybe that's what she's doing it for, because she is definitely the number one show. Period. So money will make people do this. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she makes $174,000 a year in Washington. Her business was worth $732,000, her business in Georgia. Normal checking account like everybody else. Okay, normal savings like everyone else. And then boom, over the last 2 years, she has $25 million now. Just like Thomas Massey. You tell me. You tell me. 7:35, my name is Daryl. 7:35 a.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesday, November 19th. We're locked and loaded, and we are ready to keep this thing rolling. So, thanks again for joining us, and supporting the show. You are my number one fan.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the Safari Park and Petting Zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the Wedding Chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
The Tire Depot Automotive Services is dedicated, you guys, to customers and to all of us. Since opening the first location in 2004, the Tire Depot has served the communities of Brandon, that's Reservoir Brandon, 1191 Old Fannin Road, and of course, Byram, 5758 Terry Road in Byram. Both stores are open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturday, 7:30 to 1. Stop in any time at each one of the Tire Depots and talk to them. They have the fantastic selection of prices and, of course, trustworthy. The Tire Depot Automotive Service is true to its name, sticking by a small town feel with a big-time experience. That's the Tire Depot, located in Brandon on the Reservoir, Old Fannin Road, and in Byram on Terry Road. 20-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen. 20 years. TireDepotMS.com. Yay. Midweek, Wednesday. My name is D. Thanks for joining us. Unleashed. We are Unleashed Media. We also UnleashedMediaUSA.com. UnleashedMediaUSA.com. UnleashedMediaUSA.com, which is like a newspaper or a Fox News digital newspaper where you can get news and other information that you may be interested in. Also, we have all of our social medias. We also have the D&K podcast over on the D&K page, and that is D&K, like Daryl and Kim. That's the D&K podcast on Monday evenings at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Then, of course, you got me early in the mornings. So, got a hat on. I'm testing out a few hats here. Different logos for Unleashed. Going to start making those available for folks, for giveaways, and for sale. So stick around for that. And hopefully you will like them. You will dig them. I dig them, D. I dig them, D. Oh, my God. And Crowder was like around Erica equals same state within a 3-day window. That's not really surveillance, I would say. That's just two planes existing in the same huge area around the same time. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Benny Thompson. Somebody mentioned Benny Thompson. Good morning, Catherine. Yeah, Benny Thompson is a joke, a criminal, the worst ever. But we can vote these people out every 2 years. 2 years, but yet he's been there 35. It's because of the nonsense gerrymandering that goes on in the Thompson district and so much more in Mississippi. Sadly, this is true. Okay? Sadly. So I don't know if you've seen the podcast Timcast. This guy used to be a Democrat, owns a skateboard company, has one of the top 5 podcasts in the world. But he's definitely not a Democrat anymore. But I saw him talking on Jesse Waters last night, you know, about manufacturing jobs and slogans and not solutions, you know, just all that kind of stuff. But things are changing again under Trump. Everybody just needs to take a chill pill.
I donated the maximum to Tulsi Gabbard. She's now a Republican alongside Trump. I hear Trump talking about tariffs. I understand this. I am a business owner. I own a skateboard company. We make all of our products in America, and I know what it means for an industry to outsource those jobs. And I agree with these tariffs because it's been a godsend for the manufacturing in this country, real Americans to get work, to benefit our culture. And when I look at Democrats, what are they talking about? They've got Mamdani talking about free buses and faster buses. He has no authority to do that. Chuck Schumer is infighting with Democrats, but the socialists are likely going to take over that party. I don't recognize them anymore. And it's strange to me that after all of my years, I'm going to be 40 in a few months, the Republicans are the party of the working class and of the manufacturing jobs. I wish we had real political competition in this country, but we just don't.
All right, so it looks like the Republican Party may be competing against the socialists. It looks like Chuck's on his last legs. And like Gavin Newsom, of all people, is like the one semi-normal Democrat that's like keeping everything at bay. I mean, is this what we're facing?
I'm pretty confident going into these midterms now. The past couple of weeks are a little worrying with the infighting on the right with some of these foreign policy issues. But, you know, today it seems like Trump is back on message. The infighting is sort of dying down.
Yeah, sort of dying down. The infighting needs to die down, especially from MAGA versus MAGA, or MAGA versus America First. And the other number one podcast in the world is the obnoxious Nick Fuentes. Yes, he has the right to do it. No, I'm not going to say he doesn't. He can say whatever he wants to say. You don't have to listen to it. But unfortunately, a lot of young people are listening to him, and he's downright hateful. But hey, you do you. You do you. But I can just tell you this, that splitting of the party on the right side is dangerous. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Because it's become blatantly, through his hateful speech, that he truly is vulgar, spewing hate. I don't do that on this show. You do you, though. You can do you. I'm not doing that. I'm just not. But I'm also not going to scream and cry about people not allowed to have a show, or they shouldn't be allowed to have a show. No, I don't do that either, for many reasons. But the main reason is free speech. Because as far as I know, which I do know, nobody can give you that right except we're born with that right. We're born with that. That's part of our protected right. Period. Yeah, I did see another podcast with Sean Ryan, former sniper that's got a really popular show, who had Charlie Kirk's head of security on there, Brian Harpole, which was basically he was debunking a lot of the conspiracy theories. But unlike them, some of them anyway, he did present a lot of receipts and evidence and facts. Now, still, he's not talking about the shooter, though. He's talking about the actual scene of the crime. Because there was a lot of lunacy going on with microphones shooting Charlie Kirk. That didn't happen, y'all. It's not true. All these secret type weapons, it didn't happen. That's just not true. Now, as far as the shooter, the reason behind it, and whether it was a setup, who freaking knows? We don't know that yet. And I don't know if we'll ever know it. But one of the main things that he confirmed was an autopsy, because, you know, people scream about autopsies, and you know, you can get all that through a normal FOIA request. I've said this over and over. All you got to do is get a FOIA request if you want that kind of information. And it's right there, boom. There's the autopsy. You can get a lot, sometimes too much, from a FOIA request. You know, it's just the absolute truth. The Epstein release, though, is going to backfire on a lot of big-time Democrats, and I can't wait. It's just going to. Epstein was a Democrat donor. Y'all keep forgetting that. A donor to the leftist elitist. Larry Summers. What a freaking idiot. Larry Summers, who worked for Clinton and Obama, asked Epstein for dating advice. I bet he did. And now he's stepping down at Harvard, which is a ridiculous left-wing institution. Horrible. MSNBC, MSDNC, and CNN will have to cover what they refused to cover back in the day about Democrats and Epstein. They're going to have to. They're stuck with it now. And some of them are actually covering it now, which is mind-blowing to me. But they are. They don't have a choice anymore. Zero choice. Zero. Libs. Libs like Stacey Plaskett, who literally texted Epstein, though, during a hearing and didn't give a damn during the Biden administration, are using this as political football to get Trump. But it doesn't look good for old Larry Summers and the Clintons. I promise you that. Doesn't look good at all. Tim Burkett, who's always working, Tennessee representative. He was on Laura Ingraham last night, torching them across the board on the ground. They basically, he's calling it like it really is.
Those calling for transparency or those asking for the release for political gain?
I suspected when it all goes out, the Democrats in Congress will have to find another shiny object down the road to kick, and they keep trying to kick Donald Trump, and they haven't been able to do it yet. You know, it's very ironic the fact that I asked for unanimous consent last week, and the liberal media just went ballistic, and the Congress went ballistic. So we're trying to hide it. And what did Schumer do? As soon as he got it, unanimous consent, he wanted it on the board. And it just tells you just how backwards and just how really diabolical the left is. They change the narrative so often, and the lamestream media follows up. All they're trying to do, Laura, is to cover up over all the excellent work that President Trump's done. They can't.
That's all they're trying to do. That's all they're always trying to do. Cover up what Trump is doing, which is all good stuff. All good stuff. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Crazy. Yep. That would it be. That would it be. So if you have any questions, please text me at 601-918-8409. Again, my name is D. Show is brought to you in part by Cypress Point, that's cypresspointms.com. Big week at Cypress Point. But also want to say this. The incredible Thanksgiving buffet they do every year. They're known statewide for this, okay? Statewide. So you might want to come check it out. $21.99 for entire huge Thanksgiving buffet. $21.99 plus your drink. You're not going to beat that anywhere else. I promise you that. Not for the real deal. Not for the real deal. It's not going to happen. So you may want to check that out. Please. Because it's going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. Sorry, my microphone went out there for a second. I apologize. But yes, it's going to be phenomenal on that. So hopefully you can come out and see it. Let's run down the week of entertainment there over at Cypress Point, including Cameron's Garage and the Tavern. So tonight is Wednesday, so there is bingo, B-I-N-G-O, with the best prizes around from the bingo lady, and that's going to happen at Cameron's Garage about 7 p.m. Over in the Tavern is going to be Phil Yarbrough, live music. If you have not seen Phil, which I know you have because everybody has, but just in case you haven't, the show is incredible. And on Wednesday is Wine Down Wednesday. You know you want a good sip of wine and get yourself a great dinner. Thursday, Joey Massey in Cameron's Garage. And that's always great. Always. And Friday's Lauren Lindsay, the incredible Lauren Lindsay, who won the big vocal contest at the Tavern. Chad Perry full band on Friday night at the Garage. Saturday, Ben Chapin in the Tavern. And the double crew Bradley Parker Yarbrough show in Cameron's Garage. Sunday is Don Grant and Sonny Brooks from ACR, 4 p.m. on Sunday. So line up, line down. all of that good stuff. All that good stuff. And also, coming up on New Year's Eve, we are having Smoke the Bucket. Smoke the Bucket for NYE. Wow. We also have a bunch of Christmas parties coming up. We have a big December ahead. We also have the big Thanksgiving buffet. Speaking of buffet, we have the buffet daily, except weekends, Monday through Friday. So you're in a win-win situation when it comes to CypressPointMS.com, CypressPointMS.com, or at CypressPointMS on Facebook. Also, get catering from Cypress Point. Cater your whole Thanksgiving, or order up your big orders to go. Come get it. You can't beat that either. You got big families. You bring all the big families and friends over, and you can do that, and you should do that. Cypress Point. That's CypressPointMS.com. And thank y'all for joining me this morning. We're going to get out of here. It is 104.3 FM, and it is Unleashed, uninhibited, unapologetic, Unleashed Media. My name is D. See ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hashtag unfiltered, hashtag unapologetic, America First Talk at its best.